Today, for some reason, I was reminded of when I was really little. I would guess 3 or 4 years old, about the age where that picture on the cover of my book was taken. I used to have to do these exercises. Now, of course, I was just a little kid and didn't really understand why or what it was about or anything like that. And I remember we lived in a basement house in Scotland at the time. And I remember laying on the floor on my back, and my mom would do bicycles with me. And of course, I couldn't really move my legs well enough to do them by myself. So she would do them, and we'd do things like riding the bicycle to Grandma's house. And I remember at the time thinking of my grandma Sternhagen, who wasn't exactly my favorite person in the world, and wondering why I would want to ride a bicycle there. But because seeing her would not have been high on my list. And my grandma Beckett, which lived quite a ways away, riding a bicycle there would be a very long trip. They actually lived about 75 miles north of Scotland, and right around Winfred. Anyway, but I do remember thinking those things. Of course, I didn't know what miles were, but I knew that my grandma Bickett lived a long ways away, and I knew my grandma Sternhagen lived close. And so I remember laying on my back wondering about that. But also I remember that wasn't any fun at all for me. And I would often and the other thing she would do is stretch my Achilles tendons in my feet. So she'd do these exercises where she'd push on my foot, and that really kind of hurt. And I remember a lot of times crying and really not enjoying this activity at all. And I also remember wondering what it was about. Was that often when I would be crying and my mom would be trying to get me to stop and to ride the bicycle to Grandma's or wherever, and she would be kept doing the exercises, but there would be tears in her eyes as well. And I never really understood it. But as I look back now, I really do. And I understand that my pain was probably actually harder on her than it was on me. And that's one of the things I think that we need to think about, that kind of thing, when we look and see people that are disadvantaged in one way or another. And we need to feel that pain. I think it's good for us to feel it. And that pain is empathy, feeling the pain of another, because you know what? It could be you. Anytime, any place, a child taken way too soon, or a child who develops a disability or is born with a disability, and understanding their pain and the pain of the parents that have to always deal with that, and to have to deal with the public and how the public deals with things, and how so often in today's world people have this kind of feeling that if it doesn't happen to me, if it doesn't affect me or my family, I don't care. And that makes me sadder than anything, is that people don't realize, you know what, it could be you, anytime, any place, in a heartbeat. It could be you, it could be your child. It could be you having to watch your child go through that pain.